All right, we are live. Hello, everybody. How are you? I have some beautiful slides for our check-in, so I'm going to share my screen. Yes, share. Excellent. You can, oh dear. Well, you can all see yourselves now. Can I just have someone like project, like say with sound, can you hear or can you see the screen?
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you. Wow, so many people. Thank you so much. So hello, everybody. So here we go. As you can see, this Google Doc is called April Run. And this is about managing operations within the last weeks of school and basically like how to manage everything and also upskill your operations at the same time. Because we wanted to give you like a very clear guide on how to do this. So first, what we're going to do is just review the agenda. We'll do a quick check-in. We'll do a reality check just so everyone's aware of like where we are as a nation and as ISAQ-US. We're going to do an OGX routine and guide and also value delivery to prepare. A really big note there. And then we'll do a Q&A, and then all the LCPs that do not run ICX can leave, or you guys can stay if you want, whatever. And then we'll do an ICX routine guide and value delivery to prepare, and then a question and answer, and then a checkout for all remaining ICX LCPs. Any questions about the agenda, or all good? Just someone say all good, or I have a question.
Oh, all good.
Excellent. All right, so here's the check-in. It's how are you doing? Are you satisfied with your performance? Why or why not? And what's your highlight of the past quarter? And I'm actually gonna, I'll keep screen sharing, but whoever goes first after you finished, say I'm checked in, and then nominate the next person to go. So Harsha, I think you joined first for the hangout. Go first.
Oh, wow, wonderful. Okay, how am I doing? In reality, I am overwhelmed. There's 2 weeks left of school, so that's that. But I am happy that the weather is getting warmer and that soon life will be better. Am I satisfied with the performance? I would say no. I mean, I think we are behind our plan versus achieved as well, and there's always ways for us to be improving. So that's my answer to that one. As for highlight of the past quarter, I think just like member engagement, we haven't had any member that's really been like super concerning, and that was something we really wanted to work on in our turn. So it gives me a lot of hope when I see all the members engaged and happy, and I know if we can just keep channeling that, then performance will obviously happen. So that makes me checked in, and I will pass it on. What?
Welcome.
Oh, thank you so much. I will pass it on to love my Lily.
Oh, what a surprise. Hi everyone. So can you hear me also?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I'm okay. Not too bad. I feel like once finals start to pick up in a couple weeks, it'll get more stressful. But right now is kind of that like peaceful period before school gets crazy. So overall, like not too bad. Satisfied with performance, not really. Like I think there have been some highlights of certain things like going well, or when we fix something, then I'll be like happier with how we're doing. But overall, I would say no. Just because I know there are places we can get better, and I think we have gotten better in some places, but we still need to improve in other places. Highlight of the past quarter, I would say probably also just improving with member engagement, and just them kind of getting to be more independent. That was always an issue we've kind of had in terms of member retention, and I think we got a lot better with that this semester and just the past quarter. So yeah, I would say probably that.
Welcome, Lily.
Yay. I nominate Grace.
Hi. How am I doing? I'm doing pretty okay. I just ate some tacos, so that's really nice. But as regards to like the semester, kind of like Lily said, it's that lull before things get really crazy. But we just got off of like a really heavy like test period, so it's just like a mixture of like catching our breath while getting prepared. But overall, like I'm doing pretty fine. Am I satisfied with our performance? I mean, no, because there are always ways that we can improve, and that we're also like behind on where we said we would be at this point. But highlights of the past quarter, though, I think will just be like steadily watching like my team like grow and care, and become more immersed in their functions. But like I guess like above all else, us working together really well as a team, and then really starting to own like who they are and what they do. So. Yeah, I'm checking.
Welcome, Grace.
I nominate Elizabeth.
Okay, hello. How am I doing? I'm good. It's getting warmer here in Eau Claire. We had a freak snowstorm last week, but now it's getting warmer, so that makes me happy. Am I satisfied with performance? I mean, no, because we are behind on our goals, but things have been like picking up a lot, so that's good. And then highlight of the past quarter, my VPOGV went to AMCO, which like totally just like kicked her into gear, and then that helped like kick all of our members into gear, so that was really awesome. Yeah, I am checked in, and I nominate Claire.
Hey guys, how am I doing? I am doing all right. I had a little bit of a lull last week. I don't know, I was just kind of out of it. But it got better, especially today. I feel real good. And we have our info session tonight, and I feel good about that. I'm definitely not satisfied with the performance. In fact, I was having a one-to-one with my VPs recently, and we were talking about how we feel like as VPs, and like as an EB, we've been doing really well and like growing, but that hasn't changed into like actual performance. And whether that means that either we're not holding ourselves to a high enough standard, or we actually aren't growing at the rate we need to be growing, and what that means. And so I think especially in the last few weeks, we're really trying to focus on that. Like, are we growing in the ways that we should be growing? And then my highlight of the past quarter has actually been seeing the growth in my VPs, specifically my VPF has been really good about going outside of his role and like finding other things for him to do, and that's been really cool, and like making partnerships and things like that. So I'm really proud of him for that. So I'm checked in, and I nominate Nikita.
Okay. Hey everyone. Wait, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, cool. I'm doing pretty good. Just trying to get through like the last few weeks of school. In terms of performance, definitely not satisfied. We're like not hitting our goals. But one thing that I am happy about is that like we're growing in all of our products except for OGV, which is really cool to see. So like I'm putting a lot of energy into like helping OGV, but like it's cool to see that other products are growing. And yeah, highlight of the past quarter, definitely like especially since Springco, I think that our EB has become a lot more cohesive, and like we're working really well together, and everyone is super supportive of each other. Like the whole EB showed up to the last Think Big info session, and they're coming tonight as well, which is really nice that they're like all dedicating their time to support each other's functions. So yeah, and I think I've gotten a little bit better at like tracking them and like keeping up with everything since then as well. Yeah, and I'm checked in, and I nominate Aleja.
Hello everyone. Can you guys hear the sound, or is fine?
Can you move your microphone to your mouth?
Okay, I'm gonna try to talk louder. I'm doing okay. I'm doing good. We haven't hit finals yet, but they're coming, so we're preparing for that. I'm definitely not satisfied with our performance. We haven't been hitting our goals. Like on the OGB side, where like IGT not surprisingly, but I feel like IGT has been had a huge growth, which I'm really happy about. So that's one of the highlights of the past quarter. And one of the things that I also really happy about is just seeing the growth for my VPs. Both like every single one of them, they had a huge growth since even before they got elected. Like you've seen how they've been performing. There's still a lot of improvements to do, but just seeing that growth kind of makes me happy on the inside. So I'm checked in.
Welcome. Can you nominate someone, Alejandra, or is that everybody?
I think that's everyone.
Everybody?
I'm
Okay.
missing anyone?
All right.
Yeah, that's everybody.
All right, then I will go. Can you mute yourself again, Alejandra? Thank you. I will go. Sorry, I can't see your name. Oh. Alejandra.
Wait, sorry.
All right. How am I doing? I'm doing okay. My grandma was really sick the past week, so I spent the weekend in the hospital, so that was no bueno, but she's doing a lot better now. She's awake. She had ice cream yesterday, so she's doing great. Other than that, fine. I'm satisfied with performance. Absolutely not. I'm really not. And you'll see in the next slides, not just in terms of goal achievement, but in terms of LC health. So you'll see that in the next coming slides. But my highlight of the past quarter, I have to say, is probably SpringCo. I was really happy with the conference. I loved the conference. I was really happy. I didn't know it at the time, but that was like my last ISAQ-US. I mean, it was my last ISAQ-US conference, but also like my last ISAQ conference ever as an ISAQ member. So I'm like really happy that that was my final experience with it, and that like it's just a very nice memory that I have. So I am checked in. Welcome to me. All right. So what are we going to do now? Just a quick reality check in terms of where we stand. So this is where we stand. The dates here, the LCP's kinesis is as of like a couple hours ago, February 1st to April 17th, 2019. This is February 1st to April 30th, 2019, or 2018, excuse me. But you can see there's still a pretty severe decline, specifically in OGB in terms of performance of the our generation right now from February 1st. The highlights right now, we're growing in IGV, growing in IGT, and growing as well in OGE as it stands right now. However, our focus product, the product that every single LC runs, that should be running better than it is right now, is decreasing really heavily. So we can see the majority of our decrease comes from this, because we're also covering the decrease of the closure of IGE, but that's only 22. So the main decrease is still a decrease of about 100 exchanges in OGV. And I'll go into this a little more. So this is where we stand from the entire term. So this is where we stand. This column right here is percentage of goal achievement. So this is the entire term from February 1st until April right now. So the entire LC term. There we only have 3 LCs above, four. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I forgot to list one. I forgot to list UCLA. I'm so sorry. We have only 5 LCs above 50% goal achievement, which is still not a great percentage of goal achievement, but you know, it's yellow at least. So we have Chapel Hill, Michigan, San Jose, UCLA, and DC that are above 50%. And then in terms of growth, we have 2 LCs growing by 1, Austin and Chapel Hill. I'll do 3 LCs growing by 2 to 3, and then 1, 2, 3 LCs again growing by 8 or more. So we can see that in this column right here. And we have 5 LCs decreasing by more than 10 exchanges, which we can see here. We have Atlanta, Dallas, Maryland, Miami. I think there's one more. And then like USC, Milwaukee, UGA, Appalachian decreasing by like a pretty more significant number than like between 1 and 3. And we have 17 LCs decreasing overall. And at the bottom, I'm not going to move my mouse to it, but if you can see at the bottom, overall, we're at, a 32% plan execution for all LCs combined for like the entire term from just February to April. So 3 months, we're at 32% goal achievement, 258 total approvals, which is great, but we can remember from the slide before, that's still a decrease, 258, that's still a decrease of about 100 from the previous term, which also decreased from the previous term. So what I want to know right now, I think I have one more slide actually. Yes, and this is just April. So just April's only halfway done, or it's a little more than halfway done. So we can see here still, we have 2 LCs already achieving their plans for the entire month of April. A huge shout out to Chapel Hill and Eau Claire. Not only are they overachieving their plans, but they're also growing. And Michigan and Ohio and Washington, D.C. are also on their way to growth. So well done to these LCs. And April is still not done. However, what I want to call attention to is that we have all the LC timelines on a spreadsheet, so we know when all LCs are ending school, when all the finals are and everything. And we have 20 LCs, 20 out of the 28 we have ending school in basically less than 2 weeks. We don't count finals week as a week of school right now. We have 20 LCs ending actual classes in less than 2 weeks, 5 ending school in less than actual classes in less than 3 weeks. And our 3-quarter schools, UCLA, Seattle Northwestern, ending school in June. And just a point of attention I wanted to bring is that historically, for the past 2 years at least, March is the peak month of approvals in terms of our performance nationally. But in March, we also decreased by almost 100 approvals. So March was our biggest, huge month of the biggest decrease ISAQ-US has seen for a while in terms of a month. performance. But also we noticed that April is the highest planned month for LCs. So like April is the month that LCs plan the highest in. And I just want to know, what are your thoughts on kind of the information that I'm presenting to you now? You can take yourself off mute, please, and you can just say a couple words, but I really want to know, what are your thoughts and what are your just feelings on this information that I'm presenting, or if you have any questions.
I mean, I think this is something my EB and I have been talking about a lot the last 2 months. And like, why is this a thing? Why are we decreasing by so much? And even just from, not even just decreasing, but like, why did we have this plan and why are we not able to get to that level of planning? And I think it comes down to kind of what I had sort of said in my check-in, that even though as an EB we think we're challenging ourselves, we aren't pushing that also onto challenging our members enough and like being on the front lines with our members in a way that I think we should have been from the beginning. So if that means that at the very beginning we should have been tabling with them more so that they were doing more effective things like that, or having gone to more consultations with them. And now because it's like, it's a little bit too late to be teaching too much of that, can we still participate with our members in those kinds of things? Can we be with them for consultations the last few weeks? Can we be at tabling with them? That kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Claire. That was Claire, right?
Yeah,
that was me.
Well, thanks, Claire. Sorry, I can't see you.
I thought it was really like interesting and also like super duper accurate, because like we are decreasing, and so it just like makes sense. It also has like VPs just like frustrated because like I don't know, it's like we're trying to figure out how to find like that balance of like working with them, but also them like taking responsibility for like what it is that they're doing, because like constantly reminding them or mentioning that to them like that they're underperforming is like not working, I suppose. So like exercising that awareness of like the state doesn't necessarily help as much. So we're trying to figure out, I guess, like how to support them as much as possible without actually like alleviating them of their like responsibilities, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
I think I think seeing this is like actually really interesting to kind of understand why the OGV Think Big strategy was implemented. And I do think that like the amount of strategy and support in it, we will see like results in the next 2 weeks, by kind of everyone changing their current marketing strategy to like be aligned. So I guess it's just a matter of like really pushing this strategy and like trying to make sure that everything converts as well. Which I don't know, personally, like that's something we're struggling with. Like we had a good amount of marketing last week for it, but like we haven't really seen the results yet. So yeah, we're still kind of working that out.
Yeah, thanks, Nikita. Good point.
Yeah, the same thing is happening over here, just to align with her. Like we had a lot of people, not a lot, we had a good amount of people show up and not a lot of like results from that. And what does that mean,
Mm-hmm. Got it. Anyone else? Bree?
Yeah, I was, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Okay. I just want to say that same feeling like kind of frustration. Just because I seen BPOGB kind of really trying to work a strategy of like what works and what doesn't, and it goes back to the members, trying to make sure that they know what they're doing. They are doing the things that like we were trying to explain to do. And I feel like after Sprinkle, a lot of things change, but they're not changing as fast as we need to. And like I think I started to see just now, like in the last 2 weeks, like the urgency that they're starting to get just because school's ending soon.
Thanks, Alejandra. Lily?
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like the VPs are aware that like things are dropping, that they need to pick it up, but I feel like maybe it's just like making sure that we're channeling that kind of feeling that they have into the right things and making sure they don't get like frustrated or sloppy with it. And then also kind of what was just said with just like I know that like we have been trying to change things, and then it'll be a positive change, but it won't really be like a huge volume or like what we want to see. So I guess just also finding ways to make those changes work, but kind of, I guess, faster and quicker so that we can see the results sooner.
Nice. Thank you. And one last question I have for you all, if you could just say like yes or no right after I ask this, is have you seen a difference with the strategy of like a positive difference with the strategy of Think Big?
Yeah, I think it was good for my LC to have something to like really get behind together, you know.
Nice.
Yes.
Or most people. Yes. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Isn't it interesting how LC realities parallel the MC? Because I'll talk about the next slide. In a nutshell, we're decreasing our like, to me, having so many LCs decreasing indicates we're not healthy, but we also do have 2 like really strong weeks to fix it. And I'll tell you why these 2 weeks can be strong. In the first like 2 weeks of April, as of 2 days ago, we had 71 approvals in the first half. In order to not decrease in April, we need 75 in the second half, which is like roughly on par with the amount of approvals we had in the first half. And then also the second half of April, statistically and also plan-wise, should bring more exchange, especially with the further implementation of Think Big. But I want to just quickly address some of the things people were mentioning about member engagement. So the reason we implemented the Think Big strategy is exactly the same reason you all were talking about member engagement, is because we realized that we can give as an MC all of the materials, everything you need in order to like make your own marketing strategy, have a GTCM, have a process and a way of doing this. But if we don't create like a long-term strategy for how to align you and how to give you support and how to like give you like a basic framework of how to do this of like do marketing first 3 days, info session on Wednesday, processing them in the next 2 days, and then like improve and invent over that, it's harder for you to be able to perform. And I think the same goes for your members. I think Claire mentioned like, oh, should we have gone to tabling more with members? The answer to member engagement is they have to see you pushing it. Like if I just sit here and I tell you you're decreasing, that's not going to make you want to perform more. What I always think about in terms of LCP management or network engagement or managing a group of people like members is how would I want to be managed, or what would help me the most? And helping your members the most, like they're not going to care that they're decreasing because they don't know what that means. Most of them have been in ISIC for sure less than a year, less than 6 months. They don't know what that means, and they don't understand why they should care. But if you talk to them in a way that like, let's go to tabling, let's go to consultations together, like let's go like achieve for RLC in our community. And if you go and do it with them, that's what's going to make them want to do it more. And sometimes as LCP, you just have to sit with your VP, you have to sit with them and you have to do it with them. And same thing with your VPs, they have to sit and they have to do it with the members, because sometimes that's the only way people are going to learn. No one's going to take action just because you sit and tell them to their face, you're decreasing. What's going to make them act is not words, it's actions. So that was just like my quick, helpful point to you in terms of the points you were bringing up before. But we also do have like some like checkpoints for you to be managing for this Think Big strategy, because I know some of you said like we didn't have a lot of people come to the info session, it didn't work out as well as you wanted, so we wanted to give you like a place where you could like double check and make sure everything's happening. So this week, like this is the last Think Big event happening next week. Like for Wednesday, for right now, for your event today, like your promotion for it is done, but what you can fix for next week is right here. And we also have a checklist for what's to do for this event. But for this, like absolutely promotion, like request your event. We had a lot of people request Facebook events, like even this morning or yesterday. And that's not going to do anything. Like you need to request it like tonight for next week. And that way you can promote. I'll put this in the newsletter today, but I had a Facebook memory of an event of an info session from when I was LCP. And I had like 60 people attending and like 300 people invited. And that was the biggest push for my LC. And in the last 2 weeks of my term, we got like 30 approvals. So it absolutely is possible to get a huge number of approvals within the last 2 weeks, as long as you're pushing the right things. But yeah, post daily in the Facebook event, invite all your friends, and contacting all of your leads. This is super important. And also making sure you're gathering all of the info of all of the participants. So like when people walk into the info session, have a computer ready for them to put in their name and their email address and their phone number to prove that they attended the info session. So you can send them customized email templates, customized support, whatever it is. And then you can send them a follow-up text for ops with them to apply. And the biggest thing we saw from people saying, oh, we had people come, but our problem was we didn't set deadlines. So we're recommending absolutely set expectation at the event is that they have 2 days to apply. Like, hey, everybody, here's the info session. You have 2 days to apply to everything. But just make sure that your IR partners over here are really aligned about this and they know that they're ready to accept your EPs. Because if you have a deadline of 2 days for EPs to apply to an opportunity, you should also like have good customer service and set a deadline of within 2 days for your IR partners to accept these people. So really, really make sure, because again, like we say this a lot, but the entire world is applying for these opportunities, the entire world. And if your IR partners are not ready to like have an influx of like 20 applicants and accept all of them, you need to find more opportunities. So you as LCP sit with your VP OGB and make sure that this is fine and like double check on this. Because right now, if you want results, you don't have time to let them figure it out by themselves. You need to sit and figure out with them and make it fast, fast, fast. I'm going to go through these like quick things and then we'll have a space for questions and answers. So just make sure you're writing down your questions and stuff. In terms of like your weekly to-dos for managing all OGX, specifically like OGV with Think Big, is like making sure you're checking plan versus achieved. Where are we at? What did we do? Like these are all questions you should be like making sure you're sitting with your VP OGB and checking. And if you still don't know how to check Expo, or if you still don't know how to like check core, your numbers or things, ask and someone can help you. But like something we recommended a while ago as well is to, as LCP, sit with your VP OGB and go over every single EP. Does someone have a question? Or is it just a...
Natalie just joined.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Excellent.
Sorry.
It's all right, welcome. We're just talking about how to manage OGX as LCP.
Okay.
Would you mind muting yourself? Sorry.
Sorry?
Would you mind muting yourself?
Yeah. I'm trying.
Excellent. Cool. So checking Expo, checking your tools, check-ins with your VP OGB. Like at this point, I know people don't sometimes like to do these things because it feels like you're micromanaging. But honestly, as LCP and as managing a local committee, this is also your job, is to know everything, is to know the things that are happening with OGX and specifically OGB. Like you sitting with your VP OGB and going through every single EP may feel like micromanaging, but if you're underperforming, it honestly might be what your VP OGB needs you to do. And it's not a question of like, I don't want to micromanage. It's a question of how can you make sure that they're doing their job properly and what support can you give them? And that's probably the best support that you can give them if you're decreasing, which most of our LCs are right now. Yes, like just checking these things. And the Think Big event, like really like pretend you're the OCP of the Think Big event. Pretend you're the OCP, like you're getting all the people there, that you're doing these things, but also, of course, making sure your members are doing the same. Like after this week, we have like one more big week of marketing and of campaigns until most of you and most of you go into finals week. So like this is pretty much it in terms of physical attraction. So the question is not like, oh, how much should we do? The question is, how much can we do? Like, how much can we possibly do to go like all out 200%, making sure we get a shit ton of people at this thing. And then of course, activities tracking. So I have also a sheet of like, it's in a few slides actually, but yeah, what we have right now is the most important thing. Again, many problems in having members deliver their jobs, but people are still like, we can't just say, oh, member, go fix your job, or member, we're decreasing, go do your job. It doesn't work. And we've seen that happen before. So like really don't give up on them. Like push them, take them with you to info sessions, take them with you to tabling, or go with them to classroom shouts. Like really, really be CEOs that are role models for them. Like if you want to get the numbers, you have to push. You have to push every single day. and you have to lead from the front, like really make them want to run with you instead of you pushing them towards something that they don't understand. Like it really takes like one person to do this, like one person to like really light a fire under all your members' asses and make this happen. Like that's the biggest thing honestly you can do, is like sitting with your VPOGV, going through every single line of logistics and the EPs, and then also setting your members on fire. Not literally setting them on fire, but like really making sure that your members are working hard on this. But they have to see you pushing for it, and they have to see your passion. They have to see this. Like if you think about maybe sometimes how I speak to you and how much like I get feedback sometimes of you feel like I believe in you a lot when I talk to you. Make sure your members know that too. You know, like think about what can I do to make these members want to do these things. So those are the biggest things we have for you. So those are what it is in terms of think big. Does anyone have any questions about like think big and pushing really hard for OGX, like for both OGB and OGE within the next like 2 weeks?
Yeah, I wanted to find out from anyone who's like had a little bit of success with this. Like, what does your follow-up routine after the event look like to make sure that you get like applicants?
I'm not. Go ahead. Whoever wants to.
I was gonna say, we didn't have a huge number of people there, and I don't even know if this is like perfect. But what we did is that because we had like we kind of did it rolling every 30 minutes for like 2 hours, and so like after like I would do the little talk or whatever. This is what it is, woo woo woo, and then I had as many like EP managers as I could there, so that they would start talking with an EP manager immediately, and like then we would assign that person to that EP manager. And we would talk, like, then we would just follow up with the EP manager. Did you follow up on with the next day? Blah, 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 blah. And it turned out we only got one applicant from that, but at least all of the people that were there got assigned to a manager.
Okay.
And had met that manager in person at the event.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we did. But I think it was, I don't know, maybe it was just because it was last week, like we did like a ton of digital marketing and stuff. So we had more EPs than we had EP managers. So they were kind of in groups. And so it wasn't super personalized. Like they were with an EP manager, but like, and they all created accounts, but they just weren't able to have like one-to-ones.
I would say like a way forward for that is like the main measure of success of this Think Big event is not how many people come, but it's the number of applicants that you get. So like really making sure that people have a space where they can actually apply to an opportunity at that event. Or have the space to apply within the next 2 days or even the next 1 day. So like maybe having like a 2-hour like rolling consultancy also again on Thursday of like, come by the library room 3, we'll be there for 2 hours where you can have a consultation with a manager and we can have you apply to an opportunity if they cannot apply in that space, like at the end of the information session.
Okay.
Yeah, but absolutely the measure, because like it's free to apply. You know, it's free to do those things, but they should like the measure of success is applicants.
Yeah, I just wanted to share actually also what one of the things that we're going to try to do this time to see if it helps at all is we're doing $25 off their program fee if they apply at the event, and then like another $50 if they get approved by a certain date, like by like a week later. So like if anyone wants to try that too, we've done that before in the past, but I know it's like a lot of the profit off of that. So I don't know.
Yes. Yeah. So like creating some kind of incentive and some kind of like scarcity marketing tactic usually works. Because if people are coming to these info sessions, you can bet their ass they have no plans for the summer right now. So like they want plans for the summer. That's why they're coming. So really you can also play on that for sure. All right. Any other questions for Think Big? And then we'll also have another question for you.
I would just have questions because next week we have spring break. So we're thinking of pushing mostly like physical marketing, not physical, digital marketing, and actually getting all the people that we have converted next week into like actually having online calls with each of one of them. But like I don't know if you could how kind of like push it more since like everyone's going to be in a spring break and people are not going to be at school.
I have a slide for this in a couple slides about member motivation, especially member motivation during like a finals week. So you can probably apply the same theories to spring break.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. All right, I am going to move to a really important part about value delivery. So this is kind of like newer education for you as LCP, so that's why we're making sure it's done. One, Lexi posted this on the workplace. I'm also going to send it out like any action items in an email just to make sure everybody has this. But this is the summer survey where you need to have your deadlines for your summer people. If you have proxies, this is where you do it. The second is if you're ending school within the next 2 weeks, your OPS also needs to be within the next 2 weeks. If it's not physically at school when people are still in school, it's not going to be successful. Like you have to have an outgoing preparation seminar. It needs to be reminded, like preferably make it over a weekend so people can come. Like give out something cool. Something that I know a lot of LCs do internationally is they call it a bye-bye package of like, bye-bye, have fun on your exchange. And it's like a t-shirt or a journal or like, I don't know, a water bottle or something like that, but like stickers and stuff. The third, educate yourself, your EB, and especially all of the LC members you have working over the summer on the exchange standards, especially you as LCP. I cannot even tell you how many cases we had this summer that absolutely needed LCP support. Educate yourself on the XPPs, submit your audit, make sure all your EP managers know when your EPs are departing the country, and also the home standards. And I'm also gonna like really, really nail home this audit. If we don't audit our people, if you do not submit an audit for an EP, that approval, we will break it. Absolutely, we will break that approval because this is not like oh, it's just an audit, it's fine. This is an official legal process that has to be followed. So like saying the EP is not responding is not an excuse, or saying, oh, the EP already left, we can't get these documents, is not an excuse. The EP needs to know that this is a legal process that has to be followed. We are not some just willy-nilly organization. We are a 501c3 not-for-profit organization with like legalities to follow. And if we don't have insurances for all of our EPs, if we don't know the whereabouts of our EPs, if we're not tracking the realization dates for our EPs, we could be in a lot of trouble. We were almost sued this past summer several times because of mismanaged EPs, because of mismanaged quality cases, and because some LCs did not properly audit their EPs for insurance. So right now, our stance, not just as an MC, but as a 501c3 class organization, if an audit is not submitted for an EP, we will go in and break the approval for that EP. So please make sure it's audited. All the education is there. All of your VP OGVs should have the education. It's really not hard. It's just like getting insurance and submitting it, basically, is the audit, and like an emergency contact, making sure all the documents are signed. So please take it really seriously. Make sure all of your EPs have an OPS and make sure all of their documents are submitted. We will break the approval if it's not. So you as LCP, make sure this happens within the next 2 weeks and for sure before the EP is realized. Oh, wow, look at that. So these are the exchange standards that you are responsible for as like the home entity. In your OPS, you need to have a personal goal setting. What do you want to accomplish on exchange? The outgoing preparation seminar and insurance, again, this is the audit. And then when they come back, an IPS, or excuse me, an IRS, a reintegration seminar. RIS, letters are hard. But these are the three you're absolutely responsible for as the home entity. Again, remember, a national measure of success or the international measure of success for an ISIC exchange is, excuse me, a complete. That means the EP goes on exchange, takes the survey, and marks yes for the majority, like almost like 90% of these things. And if you don't do this as the home entity, they won't be a complete. So please, you're only responsible for 4 as a home entity. Make sure these happen. And if you have questions about them, we have a lot of resources on them. Yes. So these are are there any other? No, okay. Sorry, I didn't know there were animations on this page. And make sure you know the home entity things as well. This is why you as LCP should know the exchange standards and also the XPP, which is like The XPP is like the international guideline document for ISIC exchanges. So like if your EP doesn't have proper working hours, what's the process to follow to make sure that that happens, for example? Cool. So that is that. But quickly before I release the OGX LCPs, is we have Lexi made this. She's sending it to her TM network, but it's a member motivation proposal. Sorry, excuse me. So people talk a lot about motivation and like, are your members happy? Like, have they faced successes? Do they get recognized? But one thing that Lexi noticed, because Lexi reads every single NMS response, every single NMS survey, and she saw that if what is the one thing that could elevate your ISIC experience? And so many members said, achieving my goals. Achieving my goals would elevate my ISIC experience because it's a huge push from LCs to do that as well. So, like, remember, they need to reflect on their ISIC why and their monthly one-to-one, but also like, a lot of people tend to use school. School can be a valid reason for ISIC work to like slow down, but oftentimes school is used as an excuse, which I'm sure you've experienced as LCP, and I'm sure your VPs has given it to you as an excuse before as well. So typically when member says they're like too busy with school, it's because they're separating their school life and their ISIC life, but really they only have one life. And ISIC should be a part of developing them and making sure they understand how the challenges and their developments in ISIC is benefiting their studies and making their CV and their resume stronger than it would have had they just been a student. So really making sure they see that connection between those two things. And like oftentimes what made it very clear for my members or me, even when I was a member, is people talking about how they got a job because of their ISIC experience, or like something was really easy to them in a group project because of the experience they had on ISIC, or even like how to use Excel now because of ISIC. Like if I hadn't joined ISIC, I wouldn't know how to use Excel. Like nothing in my studies ever taught me that, for example. So making it clear that like this is what's happening. And then excuse me, the proposal we have for you in terms of, or like the tip actually, in terms of having members work during like dead week or finals week, is we know that there's people are stressed because of finals, but what happens? You have a final Wednesday, Thursday. When do you study for it? Tuesday night or Wednesday morning. So like a tip we want to give to you is like during finals week, book a room or book a space in the library for like 2 hours, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 2 hours every single day, where it can be 2 hours of, hey, everybody, let's get together. And you can come, just have a chill space to study. But also we can do like some ISIC stuff as well. Because people during finals week, not just members, but EPs are looking for any excuse to procrastinate. What better excuse to procrastinate for studying for final than going on exchange to Brazil? So like really take advantage of that as well, especially because most people have like 5 finals in a space over 6 or 7 days or 4 or whatever it is. So like really try and take advantage of that and you can make it a study space, but also an ISIC space. And then just one more reminder of the LCP job description over the summer. We went over, or Sujay went over this before, but I just wanted to put it in here. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it because we kind of already talked about value delivery stuff and all of those things, but just make sure that like these things are happening. And as well, you're getting people to SNC. SNC registration is already open. It's going to be in all the newsletters. So just make sure that this is there. And then I think, yes. And that is it in terms of like the OGX responsibilities and tips we have for you as LCPs running this. So we are actually right on time, and we still have 10 minutes for any questions or things or topics that anyone wants to bring up.
Just on the like booking the room during finals thing, I definitely recommend that. We've done that before the past couple semesters, and it does just kind of help with them kind of, I guess, like feeling like showing that we like support them with their studies, but then secretly they don't see that like, oh, then we end up somehow procrastinating like quote and doing ISIC work. And so I don't know, it like, not to sound sneaky, but it was like a nice way to kind of get them to do stuff without them like realizing they were doing stuff, I guess.
Nice. Any other questions, or is everybody? Oh, yeah. I'll say one more thing about Think Big. Is I know I mentioned this before, but really and honestly, if you as LCP decide to be really hungry and give it all for results and tell your EB, like, let's go do this, they will follow you. Like, they will follow you, their members will follow their VPs, and your members will follow you. Like, this is not the time for like LC bonding. This is not the time for like, let's have a lead space about motivation. Because we know based on NMS, the one thing that's going to elevate your members' ISIC experience is achieving results. And a lead session is not going to achieve results. And bonding is not going to achieve results. So like, if I can say one thing for you, it's to be really, really hungry. And like, specifically going back to this slide, you can fix this in 2 weeks. You can. No one here is decreasing by more than 15. Nobody. And especially here. Like, this is fixable. This is absolutely fixable. And I'm telling you this because 1, I did it, and 2, I've seen it happen many times before. It's fixable, but it takes a lot of work and a lot of effort. And it takes you deciding to not be satisfied with whatever's happening. And you taking a lot of action on it. So really, that's the main thing I wanted to say to you, especially as like OGX LCPs, and as well, please audit your people. Please audit your people. Oh, so many blah, blah, blah. This is the same thing. So that's that in terms of everything there. Does anyone have any other questions about OGX or about summer JDs as LCP before I let anyone who runs OGX leave? Again, yeah.
No, I think that was great. I didn't really have anything else to say, but I'm definitely gonna take this back to my VPs.
Thank you. And also, like, I am I'm really, really willing to like sit with anybody who wants for 20 minutes or 30 minutes tomorrow. Like, I booked my calendar for all day tomorrow, basically. So if you want to have a call to talk about how you can make Think Big work better or whatever you want, like, let me know, and we can sit and we can have like a coaching session, whatever. Just text me and let me know. But other than that, if you run only OGX LCPs, you're welcome to leave or you're welcome to stay. But I'm going to go into ICX now. So thank you so much, OGX LCPs who have been here. Thank you, people who run ICX, for staying. Ciao. I'm not sure if you're going to leave because I can't see the screen.
Thanks. Bye.
All right, bye. All right. Hello, ICX. So you can see the people who made these slides. Welcome, ICX people, if you run IGT or IGV. So again, remember, fill out the summer survey. This is especially relevant for you because, excuse me, you have people you need to take care of in this country. 2, make sure your IPSs are scheduled. IPS, again, is Incoming Preparation Seminar. You have guides on everything it needs to cover because everything from the OGX slides still applies. Again, this is really specific for IGV. IGT doesn't have as many particularities with this, but OP managers should be preparing EPs for their visa appointments and also for border security upon arrival in the country, because they need to say the specific exact things of what they're doing. Otherwise, if they say something that's not specific or something we did not tell them to say, there could be problems, and we have had problems before. If you need to do external team recruitment and education for airport pickups, IPS, EP hangouts, partner check-ins, whatever, make sure it's happening. But then also, like, EPs need to be prepared for their projects. So specifically for IGB, STG education, dates should already be set. And then also this, like, a lot of these things do also apply for IGT. Like, have hangouts with your people. Make sure to give them an IP. Even if it's one person, they still need an IPS, for example. So please make sure this is happening. And then here are the animations again. And then here are like the exchange standards for this. Again, remember, these are like new as of like 7 months ago, 8 months ago. But they're refreshed in terms of being like easier and better to do. So please make sure you're aware of these exchange standards. These people are coming to the US to get an experience. It's really, really important that we give them a good one. As well, I have said this before and I will say it again. ICX is the backbone of ISEC. And it's the way that you can, if you have members interact with your ICX EPs, it's going to change their perspective of ISEC completely. And it's going to change the way they see it. And they're going to see the whole picture, I promise. So please have if you're able to have your members engage with your IGV and IGT EPs, it will change your LC and you will see it, I promise. Because ICX is the backbone of ISEC. It is. If we didn't have ICX, we couldn't have OGX. Like this is it. So just make sure everything is running fine. We still have standards and auditing for IGV and IGT, so make sure everything along those lines are happening as well. I just wanted to space with you. I think who is here? Is it just Harsha and Nikita, or is someone else here? And Alejandra.
Grace is here too.
Grace, hello. Yes, so I know there's only a few of you here, but like these are really, really important in terms of making sure that these standards are delivered. Because a lot of times, because we have relatively fewer ICX EPs than OGX EPs, it's easy to forget that there's also exchange standards for them, but they're just as important. So please make sure that all of these things are happening, and these are some things you need to be tracking your VP's ICX on as well. Just the same as you track every single OGV or OGE EP with your VP's OGX, you need to be tracking every single ICX EP with your VP's ICX, IGV, and IGT. Because their experiences and oftentimes legalities will impact us as an organization, and they deserve a good experience. This is that. But yes, does anyone have any questions or any like GCPs about like running ICX at all? I will take that as a no. People running IGV, just remember your visa deadlines and your opportunity opens deadlines. People running IGT, just keep in mind as well your start dates and your visa processing packages. Those are the only two things we know that like can sometimes impact things. As well, this, number 10. Alignment spaces with opportunity provider. Just make sure all of your opportunity takers are aware of this. Nelly and Sujaya do a very good job of educating your VPs, and all the education is there. Just like make sure that one specifically is happening. But yes, that is it. I believe choose achieve. Good luck, everybody. I'm going to come back to here. Yes, I'm going to stop presenting because I'm going to say, wait. Yes, okay, I'm back. So I'm going to stop presenting. So I'm going to say hello and goodbye. But does anyone else have any other questions or anything they want to ask about? It doesn't necessarily only have to be ICX, I guess.
I don't.
All good? All right, then. I am going to stop the hangout. Ladies, thank you for joining me. Good luck, and let me know how your Think Big events go.
Thank you.
Will do.
Bye.
Thank you.